Well, let's talk a little bit about some specifics, because something both you, Abby, and Megan hit on was a lot of times it's just unknown. Like, what in the world does it even look like? So explain, in kind of real world terms, like, what does a fundraising process actually look like? What is someone actually signing on to do if they say yes?
Well, I would start with it's highly relational. It's placing a value on the connections and relationships that are a part of your life and that have been a part of your life through multiple stages of your life. And so to connect with those people and make an invitation to them to be a part of what God is now inviting you into is a really special thing. And so it starts with thinking through who are your networks of people that are a part of your life, being able to catch them up on what your college experience has been, what you are now being invited into and pursuing, to get to know how to share that story in a way that reflects well what the Lord has been doing in your life, and then communicates that in a way that's compelling to the people you know, and being able to arrange times to sit down and talk with them and share that vision, share your story, communicate to them the needs that you have, both prayerfully and financially, for the commitment you are making, whether it is 2 years or something longer or something shorter. And so to be able to make that ask to them to say, would you consider praying with me, joining me prayerfully? Would you consider joining me financially, and asking the Lord how He may desire for you to be involved in this opportunity? And then to follow up and to care well for the relationship by honoring that ask and honoring your friend to see how has the Lord prompted them and how would they desire to be involved in the work you're going to be doing.
Yeah, I think something that really changed like my perspective of support raising might have been something you said like when I first started with GoCorps. I don't even remember where I first heard it, but it's something that I talk about with all the candidates that I coach now. And it's this idea, kind of what Megan was hitting on, of partnership, and this idea that as we make the financial ask and as we invite people into this journey with us, we are also inviting them into the work the Lord is doing all across the world. And so we're actually inviting them to play a role in the work that the Lord is doing in whatever country you're serving in and whatever role you're doing. And that totally changed my perspective. Like, I'm not just making a financial ask, asking people to join me with money, but I'm actually giving them the opportunity to be a part of what the Lord is doing. Because for many reasons, maybe they can't be the goer. And so, I think about my grandparents. They're a little bit older, and they just, like, health-wise couldn't go right now. But by inviting them to be part of my team as I work and serve with GoCorps, man, now they get to be part of what the Lord is doing with all the students I coach. And that work and that ask is then multiplied. And so for me, it's this idea of partnership that feels very foundational. And then something I love about the GoCorps model is this word that I also like to share is just accountability. Like, you have so much accountability in the process. So many people coming alongside you, rallying around you. You're never walking through it alone. You don't have to figure things out alone. But man, the resources and the people and the coaches that you have, like, logistically coming alongside you to brainstorm and to think about what you're doing and maybe how it's not working, or man, what you're doing is working and it's doing so good. So that accountability, I just think, is so helpful in the process. So also thinking logistically, like, am I going to have help? Do I have to do this alone? No. Like, the point is that you have people rallying around you from day one of support raising. And then I think that shifts into having your team. So you're not going alone. You're support raising with a team, and then you're going with a team.
Something that I learned pretty early on, and it was kind of shocking, awesome, and terrifying at the same time, was I would schedule these like 30-minute meetings for my, partnership meeting, and they would turn into like 3-hour meetings. And I was like, wait, I can't just schedule 30 minutes for these meetings, because what I learned was people who love the Lord love to talk about the Lord. We just aren't very good at initiating those conversations in normal day-to-day life. And when I found that fundraising gave access to was conversations about what the Lord is doing and what we as His people desire for Him to do. Those conversations that we just don't normally have on a day-to-day basis. And so, practically for me, it was kind of shocking to see oh, people want to talk about these things. People want to talk about what God is doing around the world, what God is doing in your life and in my life. And making this ask to join and partner with me and really with what God is doing almost like reignited these old friendships that I had that, you know, had 5-10 years ago. And now we're like, we have a reason to talk about what God is doing and how both of us can be involved in what God is doing. It unleashed this whole new reality for, I think, what we're meant to be as believers, which we're talking about the Lord and what he's doing is supposed to be normal and natural, giving of our resources, being generous with a God who's been generous with us in grace. Like, that's supposed to be normal. And it unlocked this new part of me and who God had called me to be. And I think even them, that I think the church misses a lot of the time. So.